Okay, we're here with Merritt, my next model, and what I'm going to do on Merritt is a uniform cut. Now I know that probably sounds like a real boring haircut, but trust me, when I get through with it, it's not going to be boring, I promise you. Now the way that this is done is 90 degrees completely over the head form. In other words, right here, if I held this hair like this, coming out of the scalp, that's 90 degrees. If I go here, I'm over 90 degrees. Or if I go here, I'm over 90 degrees. So I'm going to go 90 degrees all over the head form. 90 degrees, all the way to the back. Now this is the way I'll start this. Now this, what I'm going to do, when I finish with it, I'll actually have a very disconnected hairstyle. If you didn't see me cut it, you may not think we did it this way because I won't do any cutting at a low elevation. I won't nip any of the pieces off. And the way we get that very disconnected is this hair is here, this is indented back, this is low, this is high. So you come out with a very disconnected haircut. And we'll start right in the very top, and if I have to, I'll measure this as I go. Very simply. This part right here is about 4 inches. I'm going to take off just about a ½ inch at this point, and I will travel back. This is a traveling guide, all held at 90 degrees. So I'm just going to go through the section. I'm going to turn her a little because you can see as I travel one section back, wherever I have sectioned is where I will be. So I want to travel back, and if you have to, put the comb to it and measure. There's nothing wrong with that. And just combing back, traveling one section back, thin enough pieces that I can see my guide through. I have traveled from here to here to here, and just across the head form, lifting it up and getting it all at the same 90-degree level. Traveling right back to the top of the head form, small sections, travel one section back, one more through the curve of the head. I now am at the curve of the head, a little past, still taking it up 90 degrees from where it grows. Now I have this whole top section cut, and that section will vary depending on the flat of the head. You want to take the section where the head is flat and do that section. Where the head curves, we'll start with the cut in here. So we'll go right back to approximately the middle part, and we're just going to work around the head form now. This is our guide for the rest of the haircut, what we set in the top. Now I'll just get a section around the front perimeter, comb the rest out of the way, just combing up, and you don't want to drop this. You want to start right here so you're perfectly 90 degrees. And just lift it where it's coming straight out from the head form. When this hair falls down, because I've cut this right straight out from the head, when it comes down, you may think that it was cut with a razor because it's going to be very, very uneven and disconnected, which will be a really great look for Merritt. And just travel one section back from the head form, and just going around the head form in a curve, right around the head form, lifting it up. We don't want to drop this elevation. Sometimes it's tempted to drop it. Don't do it. Come straight out from the head form. Now I've traveled one section back. I'll turn her so you can see where I'm at. Lifting straight up from the head form, 90 degrees. Right straight out. Lifting up and out, right behind the ear area. This will be very disconnected here. Now, one more back, and just work right on around the head form. Traveling guide. This creates light layers throughout the head form. Really a universal cut, really. It'll go in any direction. This is the area where you got to be careful about. Don't drop that elevation. Come straight out and just travel right on around. I'm going to go right to the middle of the head form. Then we'll start over on the other side, but just taking it piece by piece. And right where you have your parting is where you should be. And right on down. Holding up and out, measuring each piece as we go. I'm almost to the middle now. Let's turn so we can see. Right up and out. And this is a nice way to do this video because there's absolutely almost no editing to it. I want you to be able to go right through it so we can just take it from the beginning to the end. And you're really right in here with me. Who says you can't take me home? You can. Right straight out from the head form. All the way down. Now I'm at the middle, slightly past actually. So we'll start back over on the other side. The important thing here is to keep it right where you slice it. Keep your partings real clean so you'll know where you are. Now let's just calm all that down. You can kind of have a look at what's going to happen here. It's going to be very piecey. Very disconnected. Now, we're going to start back over on this side because the mirror is here and I can see in the mirror and I can kind of guide my way through it to make sure that I'm going in the right direction, keeping this all uniform, 90 degrees throughout her head form. All the way around. Starting in the top, just checking myself as I go, measuring each piece as I travel back one more parting around the head form, starting at the top so I see where I began, and measuring each piece as I go. Let's turn her around here so you can see this. I started right at the hairline, then I traveled until I arrived here. Picking up a previous piece of what I just cut and holding it 90 degrees out, being sure not to drop this elevation as we come down the head form, keeping it nice and out at 90 degrees. And we're almost there. You see how fast and easy this goes if you follow a nice method to do it. Straight out from the head form, and you see the underneath was short, so I actually worked from this inch. This was about 2.5, 3 inches, so that's why I chose that. And it'll give her a nice wispy perimeter. And we can have a lot of fun with this haircut. And you can go shorter. This was probably a medium, I would say almost a medium short for the uniform haircut. It can go shorter than this and much longer than this. As a matter of fact, I will have one that's much longer and you'll see how disconnected that can be. But that, I don't have to check it, I don't have to look at it, because I know that all of the edges are totally very wispy because I'm not going back. I'm not going to go back and cut the edges. That would totally ruin whatever I've done to it, because that's not the look I'm going for. When I finish with her and dry, I might very well just nip a little, maybe, I don't know. I'll see when it's dry, but already you can see what a nice wispy look that's going to be. We can tweak these little ends out. She's nice and light in the top, and that is our uniform haircut. We'll be right back and you'll see how nice it'll be finished. Okay, we're back with Merritt. Her hair's been dried and slightly flat ironed with our little uniform cut. Now I'm going to go through and just kind of tweak it a little bit. I'm going to point cut this some because I didn't do that before. When it's dry like this and after it's flat ironed, we can just eyeball it and see what else we need to do, because this is a totally at random haircut, because with the little uniform cut you end up with something very shaggy, very disconnected. I really did not go back to the perimeter to do anything after I cut. I merely went back, I did a little bit just like I'm doing now, just to piece it a little more and lighten up the little ends just a little bit. And you see how nice and disconnected it is. And it would change this totally if I were to come down and make a straight cut. I just wouldn't do that at all. It's just so effective this way. And just go in and just leave those little edges totally disconnected, shorter here, longer here. You have a very, almost a disheveled look that is just a lot of fun. Now, I've gone through these little ends. I'm going to also go through, I'll show you how we'll do this. That looks a little thick there. You see how you can just eyeball it and see it? You can feel it and look at it and see, because it's something that you're not going to comb down and cut all even. Let me have just a little pomade, just a little bit. Hold those scissors, Lisa. Yeah. Now I'm going to add just a little bit, and you'll see how to play up. Look how it plays up all the little pieces. And if you didn't see me cut it, you might think it was cut with the razor, but that's how at random and how piecey you actually come out with this little cut. And it's really, Merritt's hair is a lot of fun because she has that little bit of a loose texture to her hair anyway, so it really works. And she can dry this, tumble her hands through it, and she's ready to go. It's not a lot of work. All right, and that's our first little uniform cut.